My husband ran away with his first love for 6 years. When he came back, my son was already 2 years old. On the second day of our honeymoon, my husband ran away with his first love. But they had an accident on the way and disappeared. I posted numerous missing person notices. Searched everywhere. But I couldn't find him. 6 years later, I took my child to a preschool. He suddenly came back with his first love. Hearing the child beside me call me mom, he asked me angrily, "We have been married for 6 years. I have never touched you. Where did this child come from?" I calmly, "The wife you abandoned is also a treasure to others. There are few pedestrians on this road, very quiet." Blake tightly held my wrist. His questioning voice echoed on the eve. "How dare you deceive me? Who is that person?" I tried to get rid of him. In the struggle, I accidentally let go of the child's hand. His merciless question echoed in my ear. "I work hard outside to earn money. On the other hand, you are fooling around with some barbarians, and even have a bastard child. Tell me, when did the two of you start dating? What did you do behind my back to betray me?" His roar pierced my eardrum. "The child is crying, Noah. Don't be afraid. Mom is here." I forcefully pushed him away and held Noah in my arms. But the child was scared. No matter how hard I tried to comfort him, it didn't work. "Don't speak so harshly. My son is not a bastard." Blake is pointing at Noah Evelyn. "We have been married for 6 years. I have never touched you. Now that you have children, you still call yourself a mother. Do you dare to say he is not a bastard?" I raised my hand and wanted to knock his fingers open, and asked sharply, "You ran off with someone else the day after the wedding. I looked everywhere but couldn't find you. Now you're back, and you still have the courage to ask me. Are you denying this? You think you are glorious, huh?" He caught my wrist when I hit him. His gaze was fierce. "Who is his father, that you protect him so strictly? Is he wealthier than me? Or is he better to you, to make you willingly give birth to his illegitimate child?" I frowned tightly. "Don't talk nonsense. My son was legally born, not an illegitimate child." Blake smacked me hard, with anger flashing in his eyes. The echo of a slap is louder. I was hit, and the sound came from my ear. Before I recovered, the same force struck me again with a slap. From the other side, just like I wanted to retaliate. Suddenly someone grabbed my wrist, then pulled me behind. A fashionable woman laughed behind me. "Sister-in-law, how can you be like this? Blake is very good to you. Are you not afraid of being hit down by heaven?" He gave him a green hat. Evangeline laughed, intentionally, forcing me to turn around. Look at the diamond necklace on her neck. But it's clear that she ran away with Blake. Now she's coming to curse me. I didn't deceive him. This child is mine. Before I finished speaking, Blake dragged me onto the street and shouted loudly, "Everyone comes to judge this. I have been busy working outside all along. Almost no time to sleep every day. Everything is for supporting this luxurious wife. But she can't stand the loneliness at home. Not only does she secretly meet other men, and carrying such a big child behind." His shout finally attracted a few passers-by. "Who is looking at me? How can there be such a woman? When a person goes out and works hard, a woman should manage household chores. Yet she actually deceived." Blake let go of me, grabbed the crying Noah. "I have been working outside for 6 years, and you have a child. Now you still dare to say you haven't gone out to meet other men." I struggled hard, trying to break free from Evangeline's, then walked over and hugged Noah, and begged the passerby. I did not cheat. "Help me." Alarm. "They are talking nonsense." The passerby was startled, and quickly took out their phones. I have seen this news before. People traffickers posing as husbands. They eventually take people away to sell. However, Blake took out a marriage certificate from the pocket. "Who says I am a human trafficker? We have a marriage certificate." The passerby bent down and looked. Indeed, that is our face. Emotions changed. They started blaming me again. "Girl, how could you do such a thing? Your man looks quite wealthy, and you don't even cherish him." I shook my head. That marriage certificate has long been invalid. It has no legal effect. Even with a stamp, you still deny it. Is that man really worth you defending so fiercely? Tell me who your father is. Who is the wild man who gave birth to you, you bastard? I pushed him hastily. Release my son. Lost. Blake pushed me down. When I supported myself to stand up, I hear my mother-in-law's voice getting closer. Blake. Noah. You can't bully my Blake. Blake happily ran over. Mom. Grandma hasn't seen Blake for 6 years. And stared at him in surprise. You are. Blake. Yes. Mom, your son is back. Evangeline also stood up, deeply linking her arm with her aunt's grandmother. I am Isabel. Do you remember me? Evangeline. Grandma hasn't reacted yet. Seeing her expression, she frowned. But soon she noticed me. Blood dripped from my lips. And Noah cried uncontrollably. Then she hurried over. Noah, what's wrong with you? Your face is swollen so badly. Noah feels calm. When he saw her and threw himself into it, he felt even more aggrieved. The lyrics, crying in her arms. Grandma, I'm very scared. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Grandma is here. Blake's eyes were red with anger when he forcefully pulled the grandmother over. Mom, how can you say such a thing? You are my mom. This bastard actually calls you grandma. Are you crazy? Grandma shook her head repeatedly. Blake, this child is not a bastard. He is. But how? But I am your biological son. Blake is your daughter-in-law. She cheated and had a child with someone else. You are now defending her. Just now, Evangeline's focus did not get a response. Now she follows him with a sarcastic tone. Yes, Aunt. Blake talks about you every day outside. He is very filial. Then why do you turn your elbow out? Or were you bought off by your sister-in-law? More onlookers gathered along the way. The meat on Blake's face is trembling. Evelyn, you really know how to make me feel embarrassed. You completely ruined my reputation. Seeing that something was wrong, the mother-in-law took out her phone and made a call. Blake, you can't hit the child. This child is actually... Mom. Blake suddenly dropped the phone from her hand and crushed it on the ground. Why do you become more confused as you get older? This child is an illegitimate child, regardless of who the child is. Although I, Blake, have not appeared in recent years. I was once a prominent figure in the business world. How could I have such a scandal? I held the child, enduring the pain on my cheeks and body. And refute him. Noah is not an idiot. If you dare to lay a hand on him, you will always regret it. Evangeline burst into laughter, covering her face. Sister-in-law, after all, you are still the daughter-in-law of the family. How can you speak up for a wild man? Just because you had a child for someone else. This does not mean you are no longer a member of the family. Right? The onlookers nodded in agreement. No one wanted to make a phone call. What shamelessness. If my wife were like that, I'd rather jump into the river. Blake's eyes were full of cruelty. The lyrics roughly mean, from the corner of my eye, I saw Noah struggling, trying to find me. Shameful things. His bloodshot eyes looked around. Evangeline saw the stick the moment she saw it. Beside the roadside tree. She brought it to him. After weighing it twice, he swung it and hit Noah's leg. Oh, Mom. Noah, it hurts. Grandma, it hurts. My mother-in-law and I are very anxious. My mother-in-law rushed over to save him, but she was stopped by Evangeline. She helplessly shouted, Blake, spare Noah. You can't hit him. Let him go. I saw Noah's legs already bleeding. My heart aches so much that I can barely breathe. I can only crawl forward, enduring excruciating pain. Noah. Mom is here. Noah, don't be afraid. Blake, please spare Noah. I beg you. Let him go. The road is so close. Yet at this moment, it feels so distant. I reached out and pulled Noah. Noah shouted, calling me. This scene enraged Blake. He tightly gripped the stick, raised it high, then brought it down heavily. Oh! I heard Noah's painful cries. My heart completely broke. Noah. Blake, I beg you. He's just a child. Please spare him. Why don't you just die like this, Blake? If you die, I can publicly marry Blake. But it doesn't matter. This is what you caused. Through deception and having illegitimate children. I don't even need to do anything. Blake will divorce you. In an instant, I saw Noah's legs couldn't move. He was in great pain and almost fainted. Without constraints, Grandma ran over, desperately trying to pull Noah backwards. Blake, Mom, please spare this child. The father of the child is a person you can't afford to provoke. His father is. Mom, this is a family matter between me and my wife. Do not interfere. Blake pushed my mother-in-law. She lost her balance and hit the back of her head on the roadside, sighed a few times and then fainted. Mom, I was caught by Evangeline. No matter how I called my mother-in-law, no response. At that moment, I was completely desperate. 6 years ago, my mother was very sick and was sent to the hospital. I borrowed money everywhere. I met Blake, who had already achieved some success. He said if I married him, he was willing to pay $2 million. The medical expenses of my mother. I continued to register for marriage, without hesitation. But on the wedding day, I found him using me to hate Evangeline. The night of the wedding, Evangeline called him out, truly repenting. In exciting moments, he sold his company and ran away with her, missing for 6 years. Poor mother has never received medical expenses, died in the hospital. Grandma knew it was the family who wronged me. Over the years, they had always treated me as their own daughter. I treated her as my own mother. Noah was born after. She voluntarily had the child call her grandmother. She always said she was not lucky to become a grandmother. But when the grandmother was very satisfying. But today, he came back with Evangeline. Not only did he ignore our way of life for the past 6 years, but he also hit her. Over there. Grandma remained silent. But Blake just covered Noah's mouth and shouted, "Which wild man gave birth to this wild child? So arrogant." The lyrics roughly mean, "Your crying hurts my ears. Stop crying." Noah cried for breath, repeatedly calling his mother. Still dared to make a phone call. That is my wife. At this moment, the passerby finally couldn't take it anymore, and whispered, "If this situation continues, someone might get killed. We should probably call the police." Alarm. Why do I think we should call an ambulance first? A pungent smell of blood filled the air. In Evangeline's curse, I completely lost consciousness. When I woke up again, I was already in the hospital. 2 police officers are standing by the bedside. Blake and Evangeline are standing at the foot of the bed. Seeing that I am awake, Evangeline is playing with her nail polish and cushion. Sister-in-law finally woke up. So delicate. Fainted for a whole day because of such a small injury. Blake, you're so useless. I wonder which man you deceived. The police frowned and cursed. Watch your mouth. When their gazes turned over, I suddenly came to my senses and struggled to sit up. My child. Where is my child? Noah. Where is Noah? My sudden movement tugged at the wound, but I didn't care, and tried to pull the blanket down to get out of bed. The nurses, in a panic, quickly hold me down. Your son is still in surgery, and the mother hasn't woken up yet. You need to wait a little longer. I remembered what Blake did to Noah. Out of anger, I told the police I wanted to report this. They hit me, and they hit my son. We came here for this very reason. Is this gentleman your husband? I shook my head, looking at the proud Blake. He is my ex-husband. You shameless woman, how dare you lie? Officer, look, this is our marriage certificate. This can't be fake, can it? The police looked for a moment, then looked at me. You said he is your ex-husband. Then how could there be a marriage certificate? I shook my head. 6 years ago. What else could he be? She is lying and deceiving. Blake argued skillfully in front of the police. I think. A few years ago, I went out to earn money to support the family. But my wife cheated on me at home. She even had a child with someone else. You all just saw that child. They have been involved for at least 2 years. The police waved at him. Okay, hand over your ID card. We will conduct an investigation. One of the police took Blake's ID card and the marriage certificate. Survey. He looked at me proudly, arms crossed. Wait. I will sue you until you go to jail. But before going to jail, I must divorce you. All the money in the family is mine, I said through gritted teeth. You sold the company before. You left and took all the money from the family. My money has nothing to do with you. You're talking nonsense. I have clearly left more than $100,000 for my mother. Evangeline shocked and covered her mouth and exclaimed, Sister-in-law, you won't give those 100 to another man. Are you willing? Blake has become angry. Hearing her coaxing, he became even more furious. If the police were not present, he might pounce on her again. Suddenly, footsteps were heard outside the door. The door opened, and a man in a suit appeared, followed by a dozen or so bodyguards. Several doctors reported some matters to him, but he rushed straight towards me. Halfway, Blake stopped him. Mr. Grayson. What a coincidence. I am Maxwell. I came back specifically. Let's talk about an investment this time. Do you have time now? Let me treat you to a big meal. Hurry, hurry. Grayson raised his eyebrows impatiently. The bodyguards immediately pulled him away. At first, Blake didn't understand. But when he saw him walk to my bedside, he smiled. Mr. Grayson, there's this awkwardness. My private matters have reached your ears. Don't worry, I will soon sue this woman to prison. So she will spend the rest of her life in prison. So you don't need to worry about her anymore. Let's find a place. He spoke warmly. But I have grabbed Grayson's sleeve, crying uncontrollably. Have you gone to see Noah? Pain flowed from Grayson's eyes. He wiped my tears with one hand. He gently patted my back with the other hand. Blake, don't hurry. I have found the best doctor. But I was talking in the middle. He also bit his lips painfully. Blake was caught by the bodyguard, feeling an inexplicable sense of guilt. Mr. Grayson, do you know about my unfaithful wife? The hospital door was pushed open again. With the police. Just went to investigate. Came in. Blake, your ID card and the marriage certificate have expired. Your account has been closed. Blake has long been. After that, he saw Grayson. His angry expression softened, and he shouted, Mr. Grayson. Then he came over and handed me a piece of paper. Ms. Blake, please sign here. After I signed, the police officer asked me, Ms. Blake, we have recorded everything you just said. Is there anything else you want to add? I glanced at Blake and Evangeline's shocked faces, and said it word for word. Charge again. Blake's transfer marriage. Assets without my permission. I need to find a lawyer to get all the money back. The police noticed it and turned to take them away. But Blake was already panicked. He shook his head and said it was impossible. Blake is my wife. When did she become his wife? Mr. Blake, you disappeared in an accident 6 years ago. And Ms. Blake searched everywhere, but there was no news. According to the law, a person can be declared dead after 2 years of disappearance. In other words, legally speaking, you are considered missing. And your marriage has automatically ended. Evangeline, unbelievable, attempted to escape, caught by the bodyguard. She pointed at herself and said, and me? Ms. Isabel, your household registration has also been cancelled by your parents. Seeing the situation, both were shocked and dared not speak to the police. If you come back, you can revoke the death declaration. Your household registration will be restored. But Miss Evelyn has already remarried. So, whether you revoke the death declaration or not, the marital relationship cannot be restored. The two widened their eyes. Unbelievable. They only stayed on the island for 6 years. But when they came back, their household registration had disappeared. Mr. Maxwell, Ms. Isabel, come back with us to ask questions. After a few seconds, Blake was the first to come to his senses, shaking his head frantically. No, we were deceived. Who told her not to say it earlier? I tightly gripped the bedsheet and yelled at him. Angry. Clearly, it was you who didn't give me a chance. You only care about hitting me and hitting Noah. You actually bullied Grandma. Blake, your heart must have been eaten by a dog. Mom raised you alone. Yet you disappeared for 6 years, making her sad. Blake. I didn't mean to. Not intentional. Grayson exuded a dangerous aura. He stood up and said respectfully to the police officer, "Please give us some time before you take them away. We want to have a private conversation." Police response. As they were about to leave, Grayson punched Blake in the forehead. Evangeline screamed and tried to escape. But Grayson's gaze. The guards caught her and then pushed her in front of me. "Say, Ms. Blake, be careful of the needle on the left hand." I nodded, then suddenly grabbed Evangeline's hair with the right hand. Then I had the bodyguard hold her down, while I fiercely slapped her face. She screamed and cursed. "Eve, how dare you hit me?" I frowned. "I hit you." On the other side, Grayson also fixed Blake to the wall. His fists fell mercilessly on him. "My new tie is younger. You don't even spare a child. Blake, you." This one-sided beating lasted for 2 hours. Screams and wails were so loud. The police outside couldn't take it anymore. They knocked on Mr. Grayson. "Miss Blake, let's take them away first. Investigate." The door opened, but the bodyguards dragged the 2 people out. They were almost not alive. Blake had bruises and wounds all over his body. He wanted to speak but couldn't open his mouth. The police couldn't bear to look any longer. He only looked up to see Grayson helping him sit down. "Careful. Hold 4 bottles for me," he said expressionlessly, noticing those eyes. They were careless when walking and fell down. Everyone else had left. Only me and Grayson were left in the hospital room. I couldn't stand it anymore and collapsed on him, crying painfully. "Grayson, I'm sorry. I couldn't protect our child." Grayson suppressed his sorrow, hugging me tightly. "Evelyn, it's all my fault. If I wasn't so busy, I would have taken both of you myself today. This was not supposed to happen. I hurt you and Noah." His tears fell on my neck. With strong regret. Outside, a bodyguard knocked on the door. "Mr. Grayson, the old lady has woken up and insisted on meeting Miss Blake." I quickly said, "Quickly, bring Mother over." In a few minutes, my mother-in-law was pushed into a wheelchair. She had a bandage on her forehead. She looked at me painfully. "Blake, you have been wronged by our family. I never thought my son would turn out like this. I didn't raise him well." I shook my head and cried. Grayson handed us tissues to wipe our tears. "Mom, Blake and I have never blamed you. If it weren't for you, I might have died long ago." My mother-in-law sighed. "This child is what he himself caused. He would have been better off dead in that car accident 6 years ago. If he had died, he wouldn't have dragged you down. He is also dragging Grayson down now." 6 years ago, the morning after our wedding, my mother-in-law happily came to give me a red envelope. But when she came in, she saw the living room in a mess. There was a letter left by Blake on the dining table. "I cannot betray the love Evangeline has for me. We are leaving. Don't come looking for us." I didn't realize Blake until she woke me up. "Went out drinking last night and never came back. The bank cards in the drawer are all gone. The company has been sold. 100,000 yuan. I borrowed money to pay for my mother's medical expenses. He secretly took it away." At midnight, in an instant, I felt the world spinning around me. When I came to my senses, my mother-in-law often calls, but she can't find any friends of Blake's. And his own number has also been directly cancelled. This ungrateful son. He wants to kill me. I remembered my mother who was still in the hospital, rushing to try to leave. When my mother-in-law received the police's call, they said a car accident happened on the road, next to the train station. There was no one in the car, but a group photo was found inside. I rushed past my mother-in-law as soon as I saw it was a photo of Blake and Evangeline. From that day on, we searched everywhere, even posted notices in newspapers, and posted missing person flyers, scattered all over the streets and alleys. 2 years later, my mother passed away in the hospital because she couldn't get the 2 million yuan medical expenses and time. This delayed her treatment. Those days, I was completely upset. Cried from morning till night until my tears dried up. I almost went blind. After the 7th day, My mother-in-law held my hand to comfort me. Blake, we have been looking for 2 years. But we have not found him. He may have already died. But we still have to keep living. From now on, I am your own mother. The two of us. Mother and daughter, we will get along well. I nodded. In her determined gaze, my mother-in-law took me to close Maxwell's account. Then we started over, treating her as my own mother. A year later, my mother-in-law accompanied me to sweep my mother's grave, where we met Grayson. He also came to pay respects to his mother. I didn't know then. Grayson was the head of the Kiyama family. Their wealth is comparable to a country's wealth. I just saw him get soaked in the rain without an umbrella, and kindly lent him one. That's how we met. Later, we met for the second time. He revealed his identity proactively, and said he wanted to pursue me. I immediately told my mother-in-law. She breathed a sigh of relief and nodded, saying, Evelyn, you have to look forward. Mom hopes you are happy. After saying this, my mother-in-law, remove all traces of Blake from the house. On the day of Grayson and I's wedding, she sat in the seat at my house and told everyone she was my mother. Grayson knows my past. After the child was born, he also supported Noah, calling her grandmother. These 2 years were the happiest. Since my mother passed away, I have a loving husband, a protective mother, and adorable children. But I never thought Blake would come back. With Isabel. Before leaving this morning, Grayson was still holding Noah's small hand, telling him to protect his mother like a man. I can still see Noah tightly clutching his small fists. Promise. But now Mr. Grayson, Ms. Blake, Noah's master's surgery is over. The doctor pushed open the door and spoke. We hurried past. I tightly gripped Grayson's sleeve. Tell me, can my son's leg be saved? Grayson roared. The doctor said, Mr. Grayson, Noah master's surgery was very successful. But recovery takes a long time. Even years. Fortunately, he arrived on time. If it were later, the results may vary. I breathed a sigh of relief and fell backward. Grayson quickly grabbed me. Grandma also got up from her wheelchair. Noah, Grandma, I'm sorry for making you suffer. Enter the hospital room. Noah's hands are all wrapped in bandages. He just woke up and instinctively wanted to sit up. But he found he couldn't move at all. Mom, my legs. Dad. Noah's crying makes our hearts even more broken. But his leg was saved. Next is the issue of recovery. Noah, don't be afraid. Dad and Mom are here. Grandma is by your side. We will always be with you. So don't be afraid. I'm holding Noah and keep apologizing. Finally, both of us cried until we lost consciousness. When I lose consciousness, I hear my mother-in-law say to Grayson, Grayson, do whatever you want. In my heart, my son has died long ago. Now I only have Blake as my daughter. He hurt my grandson. He can't live anymore. Grayson suppressed his anger and said, Mom, I will never let them down. When I woke up again, I lay on the bed at home. Grayson gently helped me change clothes, then took me to the basement of the villa. This was once Nella's playground, but now it is empty. 2 people are bound in the middle. Blake shouted, Evelyn, as soon as he saw me. Please help me. I know I was wrong. I beg Mr. Grayson for forgiveness. Evangeline also shouted, Sister-in-law, this is not my fault. This is all because of Blake's cruelty. I have never done anything to your son. Grayson asked to have a soft sofa moved over, and helped me sit down. Then he waved his hand, and the 2 big dogs came in. Evelyn, I'll pay to have them bailed out. Do you want these 2 dead people to die again? I answered decisively, of course I know. Then Grayson waved his hand. The bodyguards led the dog over, biting both legs. The basement echoes, accompanied by the 2 people's mad screams. They struggled desperately to escape, but their arms and legs were tied to the chair, making them completely immobile. The dog bit down fiercely, refusing to let go. The bodyguard blew a whistle. Suddenly, they released. As a result, they opened their mouths wide and bit the other leg. Blake's voice had become hoarse from incessant screaming. Apologize to me. Evelyn. I'm sorry, Evelyn, it was my fault. I am not human. I beg you. Please forgive me. This time, Evangeline also said the same thing. Sister-in-law, this has nothing to do with me. Blake was furious and turned around to say, how is this not your business? If you haven't lied to me about wanting to get married, then I won't casually register with some woman. If you hadn't come to find me on our wedding day, I wouldn't abandon my mother and my wife. Flee with you. Grayson narrowed his eyes. You still dare to call her your wife? The bodyguard struck him twice without hesitation. Blake lost 2 teeth, crying for mercy. I was wrong. I shouldn't have called her like that. She is your wife. I feel a bit noisy. Just when I frowned, the bodyguards shut their mouths. What I want to know now, where have you been these 6 years? They both shrugged their shoulders. No one said a word. Grayson said next to me, I had someone check it. They really had an accident on the day they eloped. But this is just a minor injury. Later, they transferred all their money to their friend's account and spent 6 carefree years on an island. The island had food, drinks, and a nanny. They live a carefree life, completely isolated from the world. They don't know their accounts have been closed. If they don't spend all their money this year, they will not go back by boat, looking for rich people, discussing investment. So, these 6 years they have lived so freely. At the same time, my mother-in-law and I looked for him for 2 years, before accepting that he really left. Blake, do you remember my mother? You promised me that as long as I marry you, will you help me pay for medical expenses? But you not only broke your promise, you ran away and took all the money. You even took the money I borrowed from my relatives. Blake shook his head, making a whining sound. Grayson made the bodyguard let go and shouted, I did not accept everything. I clearly left over $100,000 for my mother. As soon as he finished speaking, I saw Evangeline look away guiltily when the bodyguard punched her, knocking out one of her teeth. Yes, I got the money. So what? He didn't marry you because of me, not because he loves you. Also, you have hands and feet. Can't you support yourself? You. Blake was also shocked. Evangeline. That was what I left for my mother. How can you? Your money was originally mine. As soon as Evangeline finished speaking, I couldn't help but walk over and slap her several times. I fought until I was exhausted. Then Grayson came forward and hugged me. Only then did I tremble and say, let them die. Before they die, their legs must be gone. Grayson nodded, instructed the bodyguards, then took me out of the basement. That day, the villa was soaked in blood. But even so, Noah's wound will never truly heal. After that day, we moved. Grayson arranged the most advanced, Noah's private rehabilitation training. Although he gradually learned to walk, he will never be able to act like a normal person. My mother-in-law and us, we take care of him wholeheartedly. In a few years, he has finally fully recovered. Walk out of the shadows. I am pregnant again. And this time, Grayson refused all the work just to be with me. 10 months later, I had a girl. Noah wore a little suit. When he solemnly held his sister in the tears are flowing down my face. Mom, why are you crying? Noah asked me. I wiped away my tears and hugged them all. Mom was overjoyed to tears.